Great. Up next is Scott with a question about immigration reform.
Thank you. Thank you, Congressman. My name is Scott Dilley. I live in Montesano, and I also work for Washington Farm Bureau. And one of the biggest issues we hear from our family farmers who are involved in labor-intensive agriculture like dairy and tree fruit is the need for a legal and stable workforce. And so my question to you is, will you support efforts in the House up to and including passage of a bill to reform our nation's broken immigration system and help family farmers have access to a legal and stable agricultural workforce?
Thanks for the question, Scott. I think that's it's a really big issue, and it's one that I'm hopeful that the House will act on when we return after what's known as the August recess. I want to say up front, I'm actually pleased that the Senate actually approached this in a bipartisan way and a comprehensive way, because I think, to me, the best path forward is going to be a comprehensive solution to our nation's immigration challenges. Let me tell you what that means to me. I mean, first, I think we need to acknowledge that we need to do a better job of improving our legal immigration system. And that means a few things. One, it means that there are some industries, including agriculture, and even including some of our high-tech fields, where we need to do a better job of having a system of legal immigration, both so that those industries are able to secure the workforce that they need, but also to make sure that we don't have an unlevel playing field where those businesses that are playing by the rules are put at a competitive disadvantage against those businesses that are not playing by the rules. That also means an expanded and streamlined verification system to assist employers so that they can play by the rules, so that they know that the folks that they are hiring are here in the United States legally. I want to make sure that and then along those lines, I think enforcement is very, very important, because you want to eliminate any incentive for employers to break the rules. So that's part of it, is sort of the employee-based system. There's also, I think, a strong sense that we need to do a better job of securing our borders and safeguarding our communities. And that doesn't just mean the southern border. When I've spoken with folks that are involved with ports all around our state and around our nation, there's a sense that we need to do a better job of who and what's coming in and out of our country, just from a homeland security standpoint. Probably the most controversial part of the conversation around immigration reform is the question of how America deals with the 11 million undocumented immigrants who are in our country. And in my view, and I think in the view of most folks and frankly, on both sides of the aisle, I think there's a growing consensus that it doesn't make sense to try to identify and deport 11 million people who are in our country who are undocumented, many of whom actually came here legally with documentation. And so that is why I think you see a growing consensus around the development of what's known as a path to citizenship, which in the Senate bill, and I think appropriately, looks at a number of things, including requiring those folks to go to the back of the line, having to pass a criminal background check, having to pay back taxes and fines and penalties, and even having to learn English. And I think that's a reasonable approach that isn't, in essence, a free pass, but actually allows folks many of whom have gone to the same schools, the same parks, that recite the same Pledge of Allegiance as the rest of our families. Some have even joined the armed services and risked their lives to defend this country, to help them not just be Americans in every way but on paper, but also helping them be Americans on paper as well. Let me end by saying this. There's, I think, a couple other comments I want to make on this front. One is, I actually think that there's some smart things that are being done as part of this bipartisan conversation. One is looking at the visa programs associated with industry, including the H-1B visas in high-skill, often technology sector jobs, And if we're going to increase the availability of those H-1B visas, part of the conversation has been to try to secure the revenues associated with those visas and plow them into providing more science and technology education for American kids, so that down the road we're not dependent on immigrant labor to fill those jobs. That's important to me as the dad of a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, because I want to make sure that those jobs down the road are available for our kids. I want to make sure American companies that are growing, whether they be in the ag industry or whether they be in the technology industry, are able to find jobs by hiring Americans. And then the final thing I'll say is this. I mean, we are a nation of immigrants. And I myself am the son and the grandson of immigrants. My grandparents and my mom came over after World War II. We're a nation of immigrants. And at the same time, we are also a nation of laws. And to me, it's very important that we modernize our laws to keep up with today's realities.